All right, I'm gonna start off by moisturizing. So I'm using this one from Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream. Moisturizing is super important whenever you're doing your makeup, but I feel like I say this to you guys in every single video. You really should be doing makeup on a cleansed, moisturized base. It really makes the biggest difference. And then if it's been a while before you last moisturized, I always like to put on just a little bit more, just so my skin is ready to go for all the makeup. To prime my skin, I'm gonna be using the Bare Minerals Milky Combo Face Primer, and this is, it's a very fluid primer, and I really like applying this to like the center of my face and around my nose, where I tend to get a little bit more oily. This is just gonna help control the oils on your skin, and it's also going to just make the makeup grip to those areas a little bit better, where you're more prone to having oils that are gonna break down the makeup. So because we are using a powder foundation, you'll want to do all your liquids and creams before you do the powder foundation. Otherwise, you cannot go in with those products on top. So I'm gonna use a little bit of liquid illuminator. I'm using this one from NARS, but I'm only going to apply this on the high points of my face. So right on top of my cheekbone, I'm gonna do some on my chin and Cupid's bow. My favorite brushes to apply this foundation with are brushes that are dense, because then you can really get more coverage and it's easier to buff the product into the skin. So for example, this is the IT Cosmetics brush that has no name, but I will link it in the description box for you guys. The Bare Minerals Luxe Performance brush. This one's really nice because it kind of has an angled edge, so you can fit it in all the corners of your face. It's also really nice and dense. Even the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Foundation brush, I really like this for powder foundation as well. Whereas if you guys use something that's a little bit more loose like this, you're gonna get lighter coverage and it's gonna be a lot more sheer. So I am going to use this one today because it's one of my favorite brushes for applying this foundation. Today I'm gonna use the Bare Minerals Original in the shade Golden Medium 14. So I've tapped some foundation into the lid. This is actually kind of a lot. You probably need less than this, but I tapped a little bit too much on accident. But working with a really small amount of product, I'm going to just buff my brush into the lid like this and really pick up that foundation and then tap off the excess. Just tap it like that. And then we're gonna start buffing and swirling the foundation into the skin. And one thing I did want to mention to you guys is I have found that because you're doing a lot of this, you know, buffing movement, sometimes when I use foundations that are hyaluronic acid based, they tend to pill up from this motion. So that could just be a personal experience of mine, but just something I wanted to let you guys know. I found that hyaluronic acid based foundations don't really work that well for me when I'm using this foundation. So here's the first layer of coverage, and you guys can see it's just really light, just a veil of soft coverage. So I'm gonna show you how you build it, and you'll just do the same thing. Put some foundation into your lid, load up your brush, just really massage that in there. Always tap off the excess, and then these buffing motions all over. The other thing is that for being powder, this foundation has a lot of glow. It's a very healthy looking, radiant, luminous finish, even though it's a powder. So it makes you look alive and you don't look, you know, too matte or chalky or powdery ever. But you just want to make sure that you're always doing these buffing motions and really getting the foundation buffed into your skin. For the areas of your face where you want a little bit more coverage, then you can go in with a smaller brush that's still dense. This is a Smashbox Cream Cheek brush, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of my foundation. Just tap it into the lid, pick up the foundation. Still wanna do those buffing motions, and just buff it in, and then you can see there's a lot more coverage around my nose now. For under the eyes, I'm gonna use the Bare Minerals Well Rested Concealer, and for applying the concealer, I actually really like using anything that's kind of similar to a blending brush. It's a little bit more loose, not quite as dense, and then you can just apply it under the eyes like this, and you have more control and more precision. So I'm gonna take the Well Rested Concealer, same deal. You want to tap a little bit into the lid, pick it up on your brush, tap off the excess, and then just lightly graze the under eye. I also think that this well-rested concealer makes a great setting powder if you want to use some liquid or cream concealer. This is a great setting powder for those products as well, but we're just doing the Bare Minerals face, so we're just gonna use this. And the coverage is great on this. It gives you a more awake looking under eye. I'm gonna take the Caudalie Beauty Elixir and just spray this all over my face, just a light mist. And then you can use your fingertips to just kind of blend and push the powders in, because that spritz will just moisten the powders. And you can use your fingertips to kind of push everything in and make it look as natural as possible, because the powders will, you know, dry back down, but the spritz will just give you a little bit of, not a cream texture, but it'll just, like I said, moisten those powders so that you can actually use the heat of your fingers to push them in. Now, Bare Minerals does make bronzers, but I actually really like using the foundations as bronzers because there's so many different shades and I just feel like they look more realistic. So I'm gonna use Warm Tan 22. This is a nice, super warm toned bronze, and I'm gonna pick it up on a loose brush this time so that I get more of a, you know, airbrushed and sheer amount of color. If you use something more dense, it's gonna be a lot more full coverage. And I'm just gonna apply this as I would my bronzer, and you'll see it'll just warm up your skin tone. So I'll bronze one half of my face so you guys can see the two compared side by side. I'll just do a light dusting all over. Some in, I'm gonna put some into the crease of my eye, because I think that really makes a big difference in just tying your whole face together. This is the side with the Warm Tan foundation used as a bronzer, and then there's no, you know, bronzer on this side of the face, and you can see the difference is subtle, but this side of my face just looks a lot more awake and there's more shape to my actual face and features. Obviously you can build this up and make it more intense if you want, but I just wanted to show you guys, you know, although it is subtle, I think it makes the biggest difference. So I'll finish up this side. Again, just gonna tap a little bit into the lid and start applying it around my hairline and just really blending it again in those, you know, circular buffing motions so that everything's blending nicely together. And there we go, she's alive. And you guys can see, it just wakes up your skin tone, and we're using all powders, so honestly, I think that's kind of the cool thing about Bare Minerals is even though that this is a full face of powder, look how radiant and youthful my skin looks. It doesn't look chalky or matte. All right, so this is the finished base. We just have the well-rested concealer, the foundation, and then the foundation that we used as bronzer. And everything looks really, you know, lifelike and glowy. It doesn't feel heavy at all. And this is one of those times where I tell you guys, like, it doesn't feel like anything on your skin, but this really does not feel like anything on your skin. And it's all powder, but it doesn't look chalky and it doesn't look matte. There's still tons of glow and life in the skin. I feel like you really don't even need a highlighter with this look. Just because the skin has so much radiance on its own, but I will show you guys one of my favorite highlighters from Bare Minerals. This is the powder highlight in the shade Free, and you guys know I like applying my highlights with the Laura Mercier finishing powder brush, so I'll just tap into here, tap off the excess, and just lightly, you know, buff that on the top of my cheekbone, a little bit above the brow. I kind of like how that opens up the face. And then it already has that gorgeous wet reflective shine, but it's powder. Pushing it in like it's a cream so that it's not just, you know, laying on top. I'm gonna pop on a little mascara. I'm just bringing all my freckles back. I'm using a little brown lip liner. But this will just, because this is a full coverage look and I want it to look a little bit more natural. So even though my skin is, you know, fully covered, I just want to make sure that you can still see some life on my skin. So I just like to bring some stuff back, and it takes away from the makeup looking too heavy. I just think it brightens up the face and just makes everything not quite as aggressive. I actually don't have a Bare Minerals blush. I'm really upset. I thought I had one, but I don't have one in my collection currently, so I'm gonna skip out on blush for this because I just wanted to show you guys the base routine. At this point, you guys can go in with a setting spray if that's what you like. You can use something mattifying or dewy. One of my favorites from Bare Minerals is the Bare Minerals Dew Mist. I've used this in multiple videos. I really love this. It makes you so dewy and so glowy. But the Caudalie one that I showed you guys in the tutorial, this does not change the setting of your makeup. I'm sorry, the finish of your makeup. What it does is it just kind of moistens the base for a couple seconds until it sets back down. And so I really like using this as more of a prep or a refreshing spray. But when I'm using this with powder products, I really like how it just gives the powder a little bit of almost like movement and flex, so that I can really push the powders into my skin and then they return back to their finish that they are intended to have. So this is just a great tool to use if you want a little something that's going to make the powders easier to push into certain areas of your face. That's basically all I wanted to say about that spray. So yeah, I really wanted to do this video for you guys because I've literally been wearing Bare Minerals since I was like 15. I got it on my 15th birthday because that's when I went to start wearing foundation, and my parents like literally bought it off of QVC, and they were like, if you want to wear foundation, then you have to wear something that looks natural. And it is one of the products that I have been loyal to since I was 15. Every time I run out of my Bare Minerals foundation, I always purchase a new one because it is a staple for me personally. I know I haven't given it as much love on my channel, but I'm always trying to show you guys, you know, new foundations and new products and stuff. Even though this routine was fast, I hope I answered any questions that you guys might have about the product. If I didn't, feel free to leave them down below, and I will always do my best to get back to you guys. I will list and link everything as well as my shades in the description box for you guys. Please be sure to subscribe if you didn't earlier, and I would also love it if you guys would come follow me on Instagram if you didn't earlier. Let me know some more like foundation routines or products that you want to see me do full-blown routines and tutorials on. I love doing foundation and base and skin routines. I think those are super fun. But other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye guys.